What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? We live, we live, we live, we live, we live. What's popping? Um, I don't know why I'm appearing so dark. I got lights for some reason. The camera. I don't know what's up. If it's the camera on the computer or whatever it is, or the settings. I checked the settings and I can't adjust the lighting. So it is what it is, right? So anyway, let me make sure I'm good on Facebook. Give me 1 second. Okay. I think it's showing a little bit better on Facebook, but I guess from what I'm looking at, it looks a little bit dark. All right. Or whatever it is. All right. So what's up, everybody? What's good, man? What's good? Let me just set up real quick. All right. So it's getting a little brighter, which is a good thing, right? All right, cool. So hope everybody's enjoying, their Labor Day. Hope you guys are being safe. You know what I mean? Um, Once again, I'm just always here, man. Just dropping knowledge, dropping information. It's a beautiful day. Early, I shot some video, like a video, not some, but I did a live, and because they had so many different people using their phones, the service was a little bit messed up. But I just kind of wanted to show you a little bit of the culture, out here in Brooklyn. Every Labor Day Monday, we have this festival. Now, for the past 2 years, they didn't have it because of the pandemic, right? But this year they had it, and it's a heavy police presence. Now, you could look at this. You could look at this two ways, right? Why so many police officers there? Well, guess what? Because they are needed there. Because Negroes don't know how to act. You know what I mean? Like, people come out and have a good time, and sometimes people shoot up the place. After the carnival, you hear in the news like 4 or 5 people they got shot. So until we learn how to operate as men and women, you're always going to be governed. All right, that's just the bottom line. If you cannot govern yourself, you are going to be governed, because you live in a society, and within a society there must be they got to have laws. Within a society they got to have laws. All right, and you got to respect other people. So until then, I mean, yes, we have a right to govern ourselves, but a lot of people are not in that position to do that. All right. But anyway, with that being said, yes, that is part of the culture. All right. Every year it's celebrated, whether it's in the Caribbean, whether it's in the United States. I mean, I know Florida, Miami normally have a carnival, Boston, Atlanta. Where else? They be having one. Of course, Brooklyn, you know, but it's part of the culture. And I want to just touch on a couple of things. And anybody who feel like, what, they want to join the live, just let me know. If you want to join the live, you could come on and share some information if you so choose, right? But with that being said, a lot of the truth is coming out. It couldn't be hidden forever. Once again, like I told y'all before, we are living in the age of Aquarius, and that means that everything that's in the dark will come to light. All right. So it's actually coming to light that we, the so-called Negroes, the so-called Black people, I don't put myself in a box calling myself a Negro, calling myself Black. There's a reason for that, because we didn't call ourselves that. All right. That's number one. Okay. So when the colonizers came into the Americas, all right, they saw people who look like us. That is just facts. All right. Amaru, what's up? What's up, family? Okay, that is just facts. And now all the, whether it's archaeologists, scientists, everybody's coming out, you know what I'm saying, with that information. All right. So whether it's Lucia, going back, you will find that these people were of a Negroid feature. All right. So that is facts. And of course, that information is being reiterated. But again, the brainwashing and the indoctrination of all the lies, because you are of a dark brown or light brown. Being brown doesn't equate to being African. And I tell people, I have nothing against Africans. You know what I'm saying? That's not the point. I have nothing against Europeans either. I have nothing against Asians, because remember, all those people, the original people, they look like us. That is just a fact. All right. The original Asians, okay, are brown skinned people, whether they are light skinned or they are deep brown to the point where you could call them black. Okay, but they're not black. All right, the original Europeans. All right. So what you have to realize is the people right now that are calling themselves the natives, okay, the United States are fooling everybody, making them think that they are the original Indians. These people are not the original people. First of all, okay, these people, including the Caucasians, all right, in fact, let's just say humans or mankind, period. Mankind, they haven't been on this earth for more than 30,000 years. And I'm giving them, I mean, I'm being generous. I am being generous, very, very generous. Okay. These people have not been on earth for over 30 years. I mean, for over 30,000 years. Not 30, over 30,000 years. Okay. And if we're going to talk about the Caucasian, the last breed of those that were breeded, okay, because they are all hybrids. So the last group of the hybrids are the Caucasians. They haven't been on Earth for more than 15,000 years. Okay. Now I could go back with, the Asians. They were here a little longer because again, they had to be, the Asians had to be bred out to create the Caucasians. Caucasians are Asians. Okay, they are all Asians. All right, the East Indians are also Asians, but they are the original Asians, meaning that the Asians came from them, and the Caucasians is the last bred out hybrid race. Okay, so when you go back into the Bible and you speak of Ethiopia, they're not talking about Africa, because Africa didn't exist in terms of being Africa. Okay, that the only part of Africa that was actually called Africa is Tunisia. That was the only part. But because of colonization, that name extended into the continent. All right. So before you even had Africa, before you had Al Kabul and whatever the name is, okay, you had Ethiopia. So that whole continent, for the most part, the majority of the continent was called Ethiopia. As a matter of fact, East Hindustan, what you call India, okay, it wasn't called India at that time. As a matter of fact, it was hardly called India in 1492. So once again, Christopher Columbus and the likes, they were not going to India. They knew where they was coming. All right. But with that being said, the whole entire East and now northeast of India, what used to be called Hindustan, it was part of Ethiopia. You know what I'm saying? So if India, most of India was actually part of the Ethiopian kingdom. All right. Because why? What you need to realize, once again, mankind was created in Ethiopia, which was what we call Africa, but even more so east of Asia. All right. That's where mankind was created. So how can a people such as the Mongoloids, they haven't been on Earth for more than 25,000 years? How could they be the original people of the Americas? I mean, does that even make sense to y'all? And they know this. You know what I mean? They know the truth. They know the facts. So why are we allowing these people to be in that position? Why aren't we challenging? Now we could whether it's archaeological research, ethnological, scientific proof. We have the proof that literally, and I'm talking about literally, okay, every individual on Earth, going back 25 to 30 years, going back into time immemorial, they were of a brown complexion, copper complexion. Okay, whether you call it copper, chocolate, cocoa, golden, brown, whichever way you want to call it, we are the original people of the entire earth. So once again, if the Mongoloids, they haven't been on this earth for more than 30,000 years, how can they be the original Americans? And they cannot prove they are. How can they be? But it's okay though, and what I mean by that is the truth is coming out. More people and more people and more people talking about it. You know what I mean? Which is a beautiful thing, because when I started talking about that, I promise you, people thought I was crazy. You know what I mean? People thought I was crazy. I'm one of the OGs in dropping that information. You know, now it's all over the place, and which is good, which is good. It's a good thing. So being indigenous, and I'm talking about indigenous from an original standpoint, you have a certain obligation, okay, and a role to play. Okay, it's all about your mindset, because remember, it's the mindset that changes the paradigm. Okay, it's the mindset. Okay, so your mindset becomes your reality. So the more people that start vibing and start talking about us being the original people and stepping up, okay, yes, the huge awakening is happening. You know what I mean? It's happening. All right. And some of us were actually chosen to spark that awakening. Because, like I said, I could go back. I mean, I could go back into time and go on YouTube and show you literally ain't nobody was talking about that. You know, if it was maybe one or two, if so many, I'm talking about before the Sinators, before the Dane Callaways, before the Chief Holidays, before, you know, a lot of people was on the internet talking about that. I was talking about that. And I give these brothers and the sisters, I give them all their due respect, because they're doing a great job. But trust me, all right, I could go back and tell you, and we could sweep the internet and barely people. Nobody was talking about that, because when I started talking about it, people thought I was crazy. Okay, people actually thought I was crazy. Even American Aborigines, I mean, who was actually hating on me. You know what I mean? Because they just didn't quite get it. You know what I mean? They were calling themselves Aborigines, American Indians, but they had a misconception of who American Aborigines was. What a lot of people didn't realize and still don't realize is this, okay? The majority of our people, you know, came from, even if, like, yes, North America and South America, but in the warm climates. And they migrated, most of them migrated first into the South. I'm talking about deep into Louisiana. Louisiana and Haitians, they have a great history together. A lot of people don't know that, but people think it's African history. No, it's not African history. It is all American history. All right. But they have a deep culture together. You feel me? They are literally almost the same people. Okay. So, with that being said, the point I'm making is this. All right. You know, people on the mainland, what we call the United States, you are more connected to the people in the Caribbean than you know. I promise you, if we were to do, you know, whether it may be a genealogy, whether we may, you know, we do whatever type of test to see how connected we are, I promise you, you will be surprised. Because one thing, like I told you before, I have read so many books, and all the books I have read on prehistoric America, it talks about the indigenous people. Once you see one American Indian, guess what? You have seen them all. And that is a fact. We have a certain phenotype, we have a certain body type, okay? And that's just what it is. Okay, that's just what it is. So whether it's North America, South America, or Central America, okay, trust me, when you see the original people of this land, they all pretty much look alike. And we are the only race of people on the planet, on the continent, that the people look alike so much. Africans differ, they look differently. Like, you'll find different parts of Africa, people look differently. You'll find the original Europeans, okay, they look differently, okay? They look a little bit different. But when you come into the Americas, whether they're light skin, so-called light skin, or red bone, whatever you want to call them, or brown copper, or even darker, deep cocoa, trust me, when it comes to the physical attributes, they literally almost all look alike. And that is no coincidence, because we are one people. You feel me? And we had to go through what we had to go through, because we lost our way. Okay, we were supposed to be the example. As a matter of fact, we were the example. That's why we were the last ones to get the concept or be forced into all of these dogmatic religions. We were the last ones. That's why they had to come and say, oh, well, these wild Indians in the wilderness, they are pagans and this and that. Man, listen, okay? We had to be the last ones because why? We were the first ones. So the first had to become last. In other words, we had to devolve into our lowest selves, forget who we were completely, okay? Forget who we were completely. As a matter of fact, we spoke one language. We did. But because we devolved, we started speaking different languages. Okay? And that's a fact. So we had to forget everything. Our identity, we had to lose our birthright because once again, we allowed mankind, not just mankind, but our brothers from across the seas, we allowed them to contaminate our gene pool. You know what I'm saying? So we had to pay the karmatic price for that. Everything has karma and people don't realize that. Okay? But it all started in the Americas and it's all going to end in the Americas. And when I say end, I'm not talking about a literal end in terms of the earth is going to end or the world is going to end. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in terms of the Great Awakening. It all started in the Americas, all right? And it's going to end in the Americas. And we are the ones that's going to bring back balance here on earth because it started with us, okay? It started with us. And that's facts. You see, they will never tell you that. So they give you the theory of human life originated in Africa, which is true. You see, everything is semantics. Humans and man are two completely different species. Okay? Man and mankind are two different species. They never told you man originated in Africa. They never told you that. They said humans. But you, the man or the woman, you think that you are a human. So you got tricked into thinking that everybody's from Africa. You see how they tricked you? Again, technology with the words. Okay? Because there's man and there's mankind. Mankind did not originate in Africa. Man originated in the Americas, but mankind was created in Africa and Asia, predominantly East Asia, which was actually part of Ethiopia, which it still is today. If you really, if you don't go based on what they call it today, all right? Because if it was Ethiopia then colonization should not change the fact that it's still Ethiopia. You did. All right. And that's facts. Okay. So it all started, when we manifested here on this physical earth. Okay. We are the soul children. The soul children manifested here on earth. Okay. Then you have 7 different cycles. Okay. Or of journey that you have to go through. Okay, everything is 7. That's why you have 7 planets. Okay, 7 suns, 7 moons, 7 chakras. Pardon me. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a quick synopsis of that. But like I said, I'm breaking all that down in the book. But I'm just going to give you a quick synopsis of that. So it all started from the Great Mother, Big Mama. Big Mama is what's called darkness, okay? I'm talking about absolute darkness. I'm not talking about darkness that has an end or a beginning. I'm talking about absolute darkness. Big Mama that have no feelings, that have no love, but yet still have all the love, okay? Okay? I'm talking about in its absolute sense, okay? She just exists, all right? Now, from Big Mama came through the sun, okay, which is the central sun. That is the central sun. And the central sun, again, all this is allegory, right? This is the first immaculate conception. The central sun impregnated his mother, which is darkness. And he came through the darkness, not from the darkness, because once again, anytime you use the word from, you are alluding to a beginning. You see what I'm saying? But man and woman, the gods we don't have a beginning or we have an end. So we came through. Darkness is absolute. Light is absolute. However, light was always in the bosom of the darkness. Okay? So Big Mama, which is darkness, she was before the light manifested. And the light came through her. And because the light came through her, The light impregnated her, and they bore 7 more sons. Now, once again, we could say 7 daughters, all right? But everybody's teaching that it's 7 sons. So from the 7 sons, each of those 7 sons, they were responsible for creating what's called a bloodline. All right, a bloodline. But the central son, which is the begotten son, all right, when you see in the sky what they call Jesus, well, they don't call it Jesus, but it symbolizes Jesus. It symbolizes Heru. I mean, every ancient religion and deity goes back to that son. All right, that's where they all came from. No matter what anybody tell you or try to convince you otherwise, the first son of God was the central son. Now, from that central son, there were 7 other sons. All right, and those sons, they impregnated their mother, which is the darkness. All right, and they brought forth life. That was the Immaculate Conceptions. It wasn't just one; it was many. Okay, until they started manifesting, avatars or souls or spirits in different avatars. Okay, when they had no sex, they had no sex. They were how you call them, androgynous. Okay, they didn't have any male or female genitals, but they possessed the masculine and the feminine energy. All right, the first split of that happened when Adam. Okay, when Adam. And remember, Adam is a race, and I'm not talking about Adam Kadmon. Adam Kadmon was also androgynous, but I'm talking about Adam. Okay, and then from Adam came another race called Eve. So that's the separation of the male and female in its physical form. But before that, they were all androgynous. But all that happened in the Americas. You see what I'm saying? I'm talking about Atlantis was part of the Americas. I'm talking about Lemuria was part of the Americas. All those great races of people, they were also part of the Americas, not just of the Americas, but certain parts of Europe, certain parts of Africa, certain parts of Asia. All right. But when the first land emerged, it was the American continent, particularly or specifically rather, North America. And from North America, go all the way to Nova Scotia, all the way into Europe. All right. So when Europe was just a baby, when land was just popping up, America already had life. You see what I'm saying? But they will not teach you that. You did. They will not teach you that. All right. So once again, the soul children manifested here in the Americas. That's why we Americans, we are the only ones that's associated with soul. Okay. You never hear them talking about soul from Africa. You never, because it's not a fact. Okay. So we are the soul children, but from the soul children, okay, we had to, all that again was done by design. So since we were in our pure state of being, okay, all we knew was good. All right, all we knew was good, but we had to learn the opposite of good. So we had to devolve into our lowest form, okay, but a lot of us still had to remain pure. All right, so there was a great war. And I'm talking about the great war they're talking about in heaven and all these different wars. That war wasn't just with Lucifer or just Satan. No, there were many wars in so-called heaven. There was a war when, man and woman decided to make mankind. A lot of us didn't want to make mankind because we knew mankind was going to come and destroy, steal, kill, and destroy. We knew that. So a lot of our ancestors didn't want to be a part of that. So that caused a mental separation. Like I said, I'm breaking that down in the book. That caused a mental separation. And anything that happens mentally, if you speak it, it projects. Okay, because remember, the universe is a projection of our thoughts and our words. So when we thought about when the separation happens, we started manifesting the separation. So therefore, the American continent, everything starts separating from the American continent. And the 7 sons, okay, that impregnated their mothers, they started creating their own bloodline. So that's why there are actually 7 bloodlines on Earth. All right, 7 bloodlines. But the central son, okay, is where the soul children came from, which is the Americas. All right, and we give birth. So now the Americas, okay, and all the different sons, which are brothers, I'm talking about all the 7 continents, Antarctica, Europe, Asia, all of them. Okay, the original people. All right. But the separation came because mankind was supposed to be created. It was already prophesied that mankind would be created. But a lot of our elders in the Americas didn't want to go for that. Okay. They wanted to remain pure. They wanted to remain whole. You know what I'm saying? So that was the fall. Okay. And there was a separation. So because of the separation, the earth started separating as well. Okay. And whoever their bloodline would go wherever their father or mother, I'm talking about that son. Okay. Remember the 7 sons, each of them had a bloodline. So they had to go with their tribes. So they went on different continents. All right. But then again, mankind had to be created. I mean, it was prophesied, meaning that it was supposed to be, because we had to devolve in our lowest form. So being a human doesn't mean that you are worse. Being a human doesn't mean that you are less. That's not what it means. It just means that you are just the lowest version of the higher man or the higher woman, because they are us. All right, but they are us in our lowest form. So the Caucasian man had to be the last breed. The Caucasian man had to be the last breed of us devolving in our lowest animalistic form. So when you look at the Caucasian, okay, the Caucasian is not different from you. The only thing that makes the Caucasian different from you is the fact that he or she is your lowest version of yourself. They are your reflection. Okay, just like how the sun or just like how the moon is the shadow of the sun. Okay, the moon doesn't have its own light. The moon gets its light from the sun. It radiates from the light of the sun. So it is a shadow. That's why it's called lunar. So therefore, the lunar beings, which is mankind or humans, they are shadow beings, meaning that they are made in the shadow of man and woman, us, the original people. They cannot live without us. They have to live with our energy, through our energy. You see what I'm saying? But because you don't know who you are, you allow these people to control you. But you see, it's not about control. And I'm not mad at them. You know why I'm not mad at them? Because we did it to them. When I say we, I'm talking about our brothers and sisters who created them. They treated them bad. They abandoned them. They enslaved them. You see what I'm saying? They were not supposed to be slaves. All right? They were not supposed to be slaves. They were just our lower selves to experience our lower self without contaminating our higher self. You see what I'm saying? But we allowed our lower selves, not starting with the Caucasians, starting with the East Indians and the Asians. They are still our lower selves. We allowed them to start controlling the higher self, which is us. So you keep asking, well, how did the pale man come on top? Well, it was a spiritual thing. You see what I'm saying? It was a spiritual thing. It happened internally through us. So once we started devolving into our lower selves, then it started manifesting in the flesh. And the manifestation of our lower selves is the humans. And even more so, the lowest version of the humans was the pale race. You see what I'm saying? What you call white people today. They are not white. They're the pale people, all right? The colorless people. Okay? So they were the lowest version, meaning that of ourselves. But because we allowed our lower selves, our lower chakra to control our crown chakra, it started manifesting in the flesh. So therefore, we started enslaving them, ill-treating them, not so that, remember, one of the laws of the universe is self-preservation. Okay? So if you look at the smallest animal in nature, it's going to defend itself at some point. So because we treated them so bad, they had to learn to defend themselves. All right. So now the war started happening again with the higher self and the lower selves within us internally. Okay. And that was the rise of the pale man. So now you're being governed by your lower self, but you're looking at it as something outside of you. And if only you realize that, okay, all you have to do right now is raise your frequency and step into your higher self, and the pale man is going to go back to where he was, but not go back to where he was, where we're supposed to be ill-treating them. You see what I'm saying? What they are doing to our people right now is what we did to them. That's our karma. You feel me? So I tell people, I'm not mad at the player. Hit the game, not the player. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of you don't know the spiritual aspect as to what happened and how it happened. Okay? But we are not responsible for creating them. However, we are responsible for bringing back the balance because why? We started it all. You see what I'm saying? We started it all. Everybody came from us. And I'm talking about man. Because the first soul of man manifested in the Americas. And because there was division amongst the original people in the Americas, then there was the separation, the mental separation first, then the physical separation. And from this physical separation, even when we separated, our ancestors still warned him and said, listen, no, don't create mankind, because mankind is going to do this. Mankind is going to do that. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. And our brothers and sisters didn't listen across the seas. So now we are dealing with the repercussions of not listening to the elders that spoke to the people. So now we are being controlled by our lower selves, and you're thinking it's somebody outside of you. You hate the pale man. Well, guess what? If you hate the pale man, you hate yourself, because that's your lower self. You feel me? So all you have to do right now is step into your higher self. That's why I'm always talking about positive vibes. That's why I'm always talking about positive energy. That's why I'm always telling you, watch your words, build yourself. Only you could save yourself. Nobody's coming to save us but you, your own individual self. So if you work on yourself and you build yourself and you start living in your higher self, guess what? You will be able to level out your lower self. Okay, now if you look at the Sphinx, I could prove everything I'm saying. If you look at the Sphinx is also telling a story. The Sphinx is telling you that you'll see a man head on top of an animal. What it's telling you, that's the way it's supposed to be. We are supposed to be the ones in control, period. But now you're being controlled by your lower self. You see what I'm saying? So until you realize that, it's not going to change, because the change must happen. Not should happen, but it must happen internally. It has to happen within. You see, the world wasn't created through an explosion. The world, Earth, was created through an implosion, because everything that's outside of us actually came from within us. You see what I'm saying? So there was no Big Bang theory externally. There was a Big Bang theory internally, within. You feel me? So everything that you see is a projection of what's inside your mind. Everything that's inside of you, your cell, every cell that's in you is also out there in the universe. Every cell that's out there in you is also in a tree. Every cell that's there in you is also in the animals. We are literally watching ourselves in different manifestations. We are the gods. You see what I'm saying? So we, the original people, okay, to stay vibrating in our higher selves, we didn't eat meat. Okay, we didn't eat meat. All right. American Aborigines, let me tell y'all something. No disrespect. We wasn't fat people. That's just facts. No disrespect to anybody that's fat or you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just telling you the facts. We were not fat people. We were also a fit people, because we didn't eat meat. We didn't eat meat. It's only when we started devolving. You see what I'm saying? We got into the practice of, okay, doing it for, sacrificial purposes. All right. And then it became part of the diet. You feel me? But it didn't happen. I'm talking about what? 1,000 years, 1,500, 2,000 years ago, we still didn't eat a lot of meat. But our brothers and sisters, I'm talking about in Europe, Africa, and Asia, they love meat. Because why? They had to devolve. They had to devolve in able to create the lowest version of themselves. Because if you're actually totally good, you are not going to create something bad. So you have to get into the practice mentally of devolving, and then started eating all this dead flesh. So you're able to devolve and fall into your lower self, and then create mankind. You feel me? So when y'all talking about God and this and that, y'all don't know who God is. You don't know. And I'm telling you, I'm telling you for a fact, you don't know who God is. because you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on. You don't know who you are. You don't know where you came from. You don't know which son, okay, that you are a bloodline of. You don't know that. So now you here worshiping all kind of lunar gods when the truth of the matter is your God or our God is a solar God, which is actually us, another version of ourselves, but it's light. But it's light. But you're here worshiping lunar gods. So why do you think it's not working for you when it's working for the lunar beings? Because that's their God. They came from that. You see what I'm saying? They are amphibious. They are water beings. We are solar beings, carbon beings. So instead of talking to the sun to give you what you want and manifest what you want, in other words, ignite the light within you, activate your solar plex. You know what I'm saying? Activate your soul off your feet because it all deals with the sun. You're here dealing with lunar energy, and then you expect, well, this is not happening for me. Why is the pale man on top, and why do they have all the credit, and why they do it? Because you have already accepted the curse. You gave up your identity. You give up your form of spirituality. You know what I'm saying? So Christianity is not the religion of the original people. That's not. That's a religion of lunar beings. Jehovah is a lunar god. Allah is a lunar god. They are lunar gods. They are not solar gods. Now, I'm not here to tell people who to worship, and I don't worship anything, but I'm just saying the point I'm making is you have to know what kind of energy you're calling on to look out for you, because every solar sun created its own bloodline. You did. And then from that, it was all literally, they were all root races, but there were 7 different root races, and each root race created a version of what you call a lunar moon. And from that lunar moon, mixed with the sun, another immaculate conception started creating human beings. So once again, when they teach you about Adam and Eve are 2 complete different races. You see what I'm saying? All right? 2 complete different races. Adam is a race, Eve is a race. But before Adam, you had Adam Kadmon, and before Adam Kadmon, you also had other entities that were walking around on earth, not in this type of body that we have, all right? Okay? But nevertheless, they were still around. And then we could take it back to ethereal beings. You see what I'm saying? When they was just floating around. You know what I'm saying? Whether you want to call it flying, floating, whatever the case may be. Now it says, question, are the Caribbean people classified white when they enter North America? The Caribbean is in North America. So the most appropriate question is, are Caribbean people classified as white when they come into the United States? Y'all got to stop separating America from, the Caribbean from North America. Let me give you a typical example. I'm going to show you real quick. Let me share that with you. And that's where a lot of people start coming with the division, because if you want to stay divided, you're going to continue to fall. All right. Now, let me show you something. Let me show you something. Give me 1 second, please. Let me show y'all something real quick. What continent? Give me 1 second. Population, All right, cool. Let me show y'all this. Again, you see, we have to stop thinking only the United States is North America. Okay? We got to get away from that. Let me show y'all something real quick. All right? Here we go. All right, let the screen populate real quick. Okay, now look at this, right? This is the island that I was born on, Dominica. What continent is Dominica on? Dominica is in North America. You see what I'm saying? So I was born on Turtle Island. So you guys got to stop thinking once again that the United States is America or only the United States is North America. You see what I'm saying? It's not. Now let me show you once again all the countries in North America. Okay? All the countries in North America.
The countries of North America include United States of America, Canada, Mexico, and 34 others.
All right, so we're gonna call them out. All right, we're gonna call them out. We're gonna go through them, and I'm gonna show y'all again all the countries in North America. Stop thinking that what you call it, the United States alone is North America. Y'all gotta stop thinking that. All right, let me see. I wanna be able to slide through this. Okay, here we go. So you have the United States, of course, and guess what? Right, they're all corporations right now, but I'm talking about the actual landmass itself before they became nations, because all nations are incorporated. All right, they are actually corporations. All right, but before, we're not talking about, we're not going to play semantics with the words right now or the names of the countries. We're dealing with the landmass itself. Okay, so the United States, Canada, Mexico, Greenland, Jamaica, Cuba, Panama, Guatemala, Puerto Rico, all right, which was called Borinquen, right? Um, Costa Rica, the Bahamas, Belize, Barbados, Haiti, Saint Bartholomew, Dominican Republic, Anguilla, um, Montserrat, Nicaragua, Honduras, Grenada, Martinique, Guadeloupe, El Salvador, the Cayman Islands, Dominica, which was the island that I was born, the nature island of the Caribbean, that's in North America, St. Lucia, Turks and Caicos Islands, the Virgin Islands, St. Pierre and Miquelon, all right, St. Martin, the United States Minor, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the British Virgin Islands, St. Kitts Nevis, St. Martin, Antigua and Bermuda, all right. Now, Trinidad is actually in South America, but because it's on the borderline, so a lot of times they include it in North America itself. You see what I'm saying? So once again, stop thinking the United States alone is North America. All right? And that is causing a lot of division. Y'all thinking y'all different from the people in the Caribbean. You see what I'm saying? And understand the reason why we fail. Okay? So to answer your question, Kingdom of English, when people from the Caribbean come into the United States, okay, they label them, unfortunately, a lot of them identify as black. You see what I'm saying? They, no, but I was going based on the question that you ask. I can't assume that you know the difference. I'm here to teach. So don't take offense to me putting that in its proper context. You see what I'm saying? So I don't assume, I go based on what people say. All right, you shall know a tree by its fruit. So I can't assume that you know the difference. So that's why I had to go just in case other people, okay, were having the same question and they just didn't know. So that is just for educational purposes. All right. So, but I'm glad you knew that. All right. So with that being said, unfortunately, a lot of the people from the Caribbean, they fall into the same category as our brothers and sisters in the United States as African American and black. All right. Because they themselves, even if in the islands we didn't call ourselves black, all right, when they came here, they adopted the notion of them being black. All right. So I hope that answers your question. Okay. Because when they come here, they don't tell them that. You feel me? They don't tell them that because it would raise too many red flags because they're actually coming from the Americas. However, anybody that's coming outside the Americas, they tell them, okay, that their status is white and they explain it to them. Okay, so it separates them from the American Indians. You see what I'm saying? So they know the differentiation in the statuses. So I hope that answers your question. All right. I hope that answers your question. All right. So I just wanted to come on here and break a few things down for y'all. All right. And the truth of the matter is, the you don't need we don't need guns and knives and tanks to get back on top. Every individual just got to work on themselves. Work on yourselves. Raise your vibrations. You see what I'm saying? Raise your vibrations. And you'll realize that once you start mastering your lower self, then what you're doing is you're mastering the lower self, and it's going to manifest in the physical form. What a lot of people don't realize is this, right? Oh, you're absolutely welcome. All right. All right. Um, what a lot of people don't realize is that each and every one of us, okay, have a shadow. We have a shadow being. We all have shadows. If you walk in the sun outside right now, you will see your shadow. What up, Crystal? You will see your shadow. I'm going to repeat that. If you go outside in the sun, you will see the shadow. So since we are solar beings, we all have shadows, and each of us have a shadow, which is one of our lower selves living somewhere in the world, which is a pale version of ourselves. I'm going to repeat that. Each and every one of us, whether you want to believe it or not, I don't deal with beliefs. I'm giving you facts. Okay. Each and every one of us have a shadow being. Okay. Even if we were not the ones who created them, the bottom line is we were the ones that were on high. We were the people of the Most High on high. Okay. And then we fell into our lower selves. So we are still dealing with the repercussions of what our brothers and sisters did. All right. So therefore, each and every one of us have a shadow version of ourselves, which is our lower selves out there. Okay. So now, since I have raised my vibrations and I'm still raising my vibration, my lower self, the shadow, is raising his or her lower self as well. So another version of me is out there in the world, kind of mirroring what I'm doing, talking, speaking the truth. So y'all have to realize the science behind this. You see what I'm saying? So all you have to do is work on yourself, and your shadow self will raise from its lower self. You see what I'm saying? Because we are interconnected. I know it might be a little bit hard to grasp, but it is facts. Okay? So all you have to do is just work on yourself. Let me see if I could pull up something for y'all real quick. All right. Let me see. Image of the Sphinx. And
Images of the Great Sphinx of Giza. Okay.
all right. And guess what? A lot of our ancestors knew this. All right. Let me show you the Sphinx. All right. They knew this. Give me 1 second. Let me share this real quick. Okay, here we go. So when you look at the Sphinx, right, you'll clearly see, and they have others that show the actual animal foot, right? But it's actually the head of a man on an animal body. Okay, again, this is allegory. All right. So if you look in the Bible, you will see it says that. Give me 1 second. If you look in the Bible, you will see that it say that, of course, they dug out the nose so you don't see the large nose, right? What I mean? But anyway, if you look in the Bible, in one of the verses, the allegorical Jesus said, slaves, obey your earthly masters as you would your God in heaven. Now, a lot of people think that that verse was because you had to be a slave. No, that verse is very, very, very simple. Slaves obey your earthly masters. So the slave is the physical body. Okay. The slave is the physical body, right? Obey your master is meaning that the head, all right, where the crown is at, that's the master, your thoughts, your mind, as you would your God in heaven. All right. But so when you step outside the realm of your physical mind, you also have your astral mind, you have your ethereal mind, and you have different layers of your mind until we get into your absolute mind. Okay. But That's what it means. That's what it means. So until you grasp this concept of you, the man or the woman right here, okay, being the master of the animal self, which is the lower self, which is the human race, then if you cannot evolve or ascend mentally, okay, then you will be enslaved by your lower self eternally. I hope that makes sense. If you cannot raise your vibration, okay, and govern yourself, okay, as you should, then you will always be enslaved by your lower self. I don't care what you do. The only way it's going to change is within your mind. That's the only way it's going to happen. Okay? The only way it's going to happen. Other than that, you're always going to be a slave to your lower self. And it's going to manifest in you being a slave to the human race, mankind. Okay? It's really, I mean, it's complicated, but it's not. You see, when somebody take their time and explain it to you, then that's why when I teach so that babies could get it. You see what I'm saying? Because I know that a lot of the indoctrination took place, misleading of the information. Okay, all the secret that the Gnostics and the people from that esoteric culture they were hiding was the fact that you are the gods. You see what I'm saying? You are the creators. We are not the created. We are the creators. And when I say we, I'm talking about our brothers and sisters. Yes, they're still us. Even if we were not directly in the Americas responsible for creating the humans, we were not directly responsible, but because we were the ones that manifested here first and everything came through us, all right, we succumb to the needs of our brothers and sisters. Even we adopted their religions. We adopted their pagan ways. Okay? Christianity is pagan. Islam is pagan because, and I'm talking about pagan to us, because that wasn't part of what we subscribed to in terms of our spirituality. You see what I'm saying? So when they came back, meaning that they came back home, okay, these people did not. So everybody coming here is literally them coming back home, coming back to the beginning. You see what I'm saying? So when they came back, they flipped it around and they started calling what they came from, because they forgot it, they started calling it pagan. Okay? They started calling it pagan. So it was flipped. But to our ancient ancestors, what they are doing is pagan. Because we didn't have that in the Americas. You feel me? And I've already spoken about that before. We are not Israelites. We are not Israelites. No, Israelites, yes, came from us, but we are not Israelites. That culture came from across the seas. We are not Moors. Moors came from us. We are not Moors. Moors came from the bloodline of Moabites, from Lot. You see what I'm saying? So how can one group of people who just came from Lot, which is the Moabites, how can everybody be that? You see, so people got to stop listening to the foolishness, you see what I'm saying, and stop falling for the trickery. Okay? Stop falling for that. We are who we are. The name and the whole energy of America, it always existed from time immemorial. It has always been. America has always been. You feel me? And more of the truth will come out. I promise you. More and more is going to come out because it don't have a choice. Everything that was done in the dark will be brought to light. That's just the bottom line. Okay? So embrace who you are. And I'll always say that I don't have anything against our brothers and sisters in Europe, our Asian brothers, our African brothers. I ain't got no problem with them. The only time I have a problem is when you start taking away my birthright and calling me something else. I'm not going to tolerate that. You see what I'm saying? So I came here to serve a purpose because I know in a few of my past lives, I know the role I played. You see what I'm saying? In where my people are at today. So I came here to correct that. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of people, They haven't learned themselves enough to know where they came from, what they did, what role they played, and why they live in the life that they're living now. And thinking, well, you know what? Is the system that got something against you? No, you are living your karma. You see what I'm saying? You are living your karma, and everybody have to play out their karma. You cannot escape that. I don't care what you do. You could escape Jesus. You could escape the God of the Bible. You could escape Satan, but you cannot escape your karma. Period. You can't. So the greatest judge is your karma. All right. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. All right. There is no escape because you cannot escape your karma. All right. You cannot. That's just the bottom line. So be aware of your I am. All right. The higher self that's within you. All right. And teach it. Well, you can't teach it because it knows all, but ask it to teach you how to be like it. That's what I did. All right. I'm talking about 15 years ago. You know, I don't know how I learned that, but I started talking to my higher self and asking my higher self to teach me how to be like you. And every day I was consistent. I mean, I went down on my knees and I cried like a baby, man. You know what? Like, I want to learn. Teach me how to be like you. Teach me how to be righteous. And I'm telling you, man, it's like something just happened to me where I couldn't tell a lie. You know, something I could, I just started living my life differently. And I wasn't a bad person, you know what I'm saying? But, of course, we all tell little lies and stuff like that. But, just all those things just became a pet peeve of mine. You know what I'm saying? And I started talking to my higher self, teach me how to be like you. And I went to my higher self, even if I was talking to myself, you know what I'm saying? But I had to talk to myself and ask myself to teach me how to be like my higher self. And every day, every night, same thing. Talk to my higher self, talk to my higher self, talk to my higher self. And my life just started to transform, man. And I'm telling you, everything and anything that I want, I just speak it out. I just talk it and it happens. I remember, and I think I've told you guys that before, when I used to be a personal trainer, this young lady, she had just gotten her hair done, right? I think she paid like about $250 or $275 to get her hair done. And we in the park, like literally about 6:30 in the AM, right? And the sun was out. But as soon as we got to the park, the clouds changed, right? It became dark and it started to rain. And you know how, our women get with their hair, especially when they just got it done. Man, and she was about to get pissed off. She's like, oh my God, they did it. I said, just relax. Just relax. I got you. And I just spoke to the rain. And I told the rain to stop. And guess what? The sky just cleared and the rain stopped and the sun was out. She almost lost her mind. You know what I'm saying? I've gone to the park when the sky was dark and I spoke to the sun and I asked the sun to come out. You know what I mean? And the sun just opened up in the sky. I'm telling you, man, we got so much power, you just don't know it. You see what I'm saying? And it's not even manipulating. It's called communicating, because I don't want to manipulate the sun. I want to communicate with the sun. I don't want to manipulate the rain. I want to communicate with the rain. You know what I'm saying? That's things we did, man. So when you start getting into your true self, you'll realize the power that you have. You're able to communicate with nature and nature will communicate with you. But first, it starts with you, man. Okay? Not just what you eat, but your thoughts, the people that you keep. I mean, the more you get into a higher vibration, a higher frequency, the more friends you're going to lose. Okay? You're going to find yourself isolated. You're going to find yourself that you're walking a path. Why am I so alone? Now, keep in mind, don't confuse lonely with being alone. Because you're alone doesn't mean that you're lonely. If you're confusing alone with lonely, then you're still not on your right path. You see what I'm saying? I'm always alone, but I'm not lonely, because I could be by myself all the time and not be lonely. There's a difference. You feel me? So once you start stepping into that and you start mastering the lower self, you feel me? Master the lower self. That means you're raising your vibrations. That means you're stepping into your, what they call your Christ. You see what I'm saying? And each and every one of us, we have the potential to be Christ, the anointed one. That's why, once again, let me see if I could find it for you. You see, and all that stuff is in there. That's why I tell people the book is a powerful book if you know what it means. But if you don't know what it means, you're going to be a slave to it. Let me show it to you real quick. Let me see if I can find this for y'all. Let me see. Give me 1 second, please. All right, that's John 14:12. John 14:12. Let me pull that up for y'all real quick. Give me 1 second. And I like making reference to the book because, like I tell people, the book is a book with a lot of information, but you have to know how to break it down because it's all allegory, right? So let me go to and all this is part of my ministry work, all right? Because, like I said earlier, I have a ministry, the United Anian Empowerment Ministry. That's the name of my ministry. Okay, it's a self-sustained ministry and it's a free ministry. Okay, all right. So here we go. John 14:12. Verily, 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 truly, very truly, I tell you, and that's the international version. Whoever believes in me will do the works I have been doing, and they will do even greater things than these, because I am going to my Father. Now, that is very specific. Jesus didn't say he was going to just I'm going to the Father, but he said that if you believe in me, you will do greater works than I have been doing, and you will do greater things than I have done. So once again, let me ask you a question. If you are able to do the things that Jesus did, or you're able to do greater things than Jesus did, how can you serve a man that you could be greater than? You see, your pastors will not teach you that, and they will not break that down to you. So let Chief Colin I will break it down to you. Very truly, I tell you, whosoever believes in me, once again, me doesn't necessarily mean Jesus. Me means me because Jesus represents the physical man. Okay? Jesus is synonymous for the physical man. It's telling you it's an allegory. If Jesus, an example, okay, could be born into a manger, in other words, a place where animals are born and grow up to avoid the temptations, but not just avoid the temptations, but overcome the temptations, don't fall into the temptations, and yet still be able to be crucified and not fall and then rise into the Christ, because Jesus couldn't call himself Christ before John the Baptist, before he was baptized. So what you have to realize is each and every one, we got the 12 faculties in us, which is the 12 disciples, and you have to be baptized internally. Baptism is not a physical thing. It's an internal thing where you have to be baptized with one of your faculties called John the Baptist, because Judas, which is one of your faculties, Judas have betrayed you and sold you for 30 pieces of silver. And that's how you have to be crucified. I have been crucified. I have been through it. That's why I was able to, resurrect and become the Christ. And you could do that because it's there. That is the actual teaching. But they're not going to teach you that. Why? Because they want you to be a slave to the body, which is Jesus. Jesus wasn't a slave to the body. He wasn't a slave to himself. So he's telling you that, listen, man, if you believe in me, who is me? You. Okay? It's a symbolic representation of you. If you believe in yourself, all right, you will do the things that Jesus did, and you will go on to do greater things than he did. Why? Because he has gone to the Father, which is, again, the higher self. That is the breakdown of this, man. It is really that simple. It is really that simple, man. Once you know the word and you get the word, you could live through the word. You see what I'm saying? Because in the beginning was the word. You see what I'm saying? So Jesus went back to the Father, which is the word. Now, some may say the mother, some may say the father. We don't have to get into the semantics of whether it's have any. All of a sudden, my internet is messing up. Okay, give me 1 second, please. Man, listen, I got like, top speed internet, but for some reason it's saying that my internet is jacked up. I don't get that. Maybe I'm dropping too many joules, right? But anyway, okay. So once again, man, all these people that's coming with all these different variations of, and listen, I'm not mad at people for calling themselves Israelites. I'm not mad at people for believing in the Yah or the Yahshua or the Yahashua. I mean, if I'm pronouncing the name incorrectly, forgive me. I'm not being facetious. I'm not being funny. All right. But the point I'm making is I'm not mad at y'all because why? A lot of people came from that culture. What you have to realize is the Israelites, okay, they actually were brought here. Okay, they were actually brought here. And the reason why we all look alike is because we are all the original people. But the point is, they were brought here. So a lot of them came with their culture. They came with their church. So that's why a lot of people are that's why our people are so heavy in the church. You see what I'm saying? And it was easy to convert the American Indians into Christianity or Islam or whatever. It was easy. Why? Because we see that people who look just like us, that's what they were doing. So a lot of our people got converted, but these people came here with their religion. So I'm not mad at them for believing in their Yah and their Yahashua and whatever else that they call the supposed great spirit. So I'm not mad at that. All right. But don't tell me your God is my God. You see what I'm saying? That's where I differentiate. That's where within the fork of the road, that's where I go to the left and I allow you to go to the right. You see what I'm saying? Because your God may work for you, but your God may not work for me. You see, I know the lineage from which I come from. So when I speak to my source, I speak to the source directly. You feel me? I don't speak to your source. I know that I came from an American bloodline. So I deal with that situation. I'm a solar being. I deal with that situation. You see what I'm saying? I don't call into nobody else's, deities. I don't do that. You know what I mean? So whatever people want to call, that's them. Do you? You know what I mean? But understand that energies work directly for their bloodline. And I know what bloodline I came from. You see what I'm saying? So that's why a lot of these so-called Christians and different people, God is not working for them. We have the most churches on every corner, but yet still these people are the most broke, the most poor, the more. Come on. Why is that? Obviously something ain't right. You feel me? Something ain't right. It's not right. You tell me, what is it? Hmm? So, with that being said, I cannot tell you how to walk your journey. Okay, I can't. All I could do is just give you the drop, give you the jewels, and you do what you want with it. Me personally, I don't eat meat. Over 98%, if not 99% of what I eat is raw. You feel me? I don't eat rice. And I'm not saying anything is wrong with that. I just want to keep my body a certain way because I know that my body is my temple. You feel me? So, it's like if you move into an apartment and it got roaches and rats and it has a lot of rodents. I don't know how comfortable you're gonna be. You're gonna feel in that apartment. Now, some people might feel comfortable with it. You know what I mean? Because that's what they like. So they feel comfortable with it. But for the most part, most people will not be comfortable with that. So it's the same thing with your body. How is your higher self going to feel comfortable if all you do is eat a bunch of garbage? Every day you want to smoke. you're clouding out your higher self. So even if you think you're getting high and you start bugging, you're not realizing what you're doing to your higher self. You feel what I'm saying? So this system is so deceptive. They took away from you, okay, the herbs. They made it illegal, right? And now when you're so-called waking up from your sleep, they made it legal to give it to you now, and now it's a vice, but you don't know it's a vice. You see what I'm saying? You don't know it's a vice. You see, again, my people don't get it. That's why I don't smoke, I don't drink, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong in smoking. Do you? All right? But our ancestors did not smoke, recreationally. You see what I'm saying? I see people, I go to the park and work out. All day. My brother's passing blunts, and I'm like, yo, bro, y'all can't be doing that. You do you, but I'm just saying, that's not the culture. That's abuse. You feel me? So your higher self is not comfortable in its avatar. So it's going to find ways to sometimes leave your body or just be dormant or just be dead. But of course, it can't be dead. That's not the right word to use, because the higher self is actually immortal. But it's going to be inactive, so to speak, when it comes to your life, because you're eating anything, you're drinking, It's called a spirit, but you're drinking something called spirit. You know what I'm saying? So you're smoking, guess what? It's called a ghost, but you're smoking, and ghost smoke is a ghost. You see what I'm saying? Like, y'all just don't get it, man. Y'all don't get it. There's no way the government was going to make the herbs illegal. Thousands and thousands and hundreds of thousands of my brothers and sisters arrested for roaches. And then all of a sudden you're going to make it legal? No, I am too rebellious. Just because of that, I wouldn't be smoking it to prove a point. But my people always want to fall for, oh, well, they gave it to us, so yeah, we could smoke. Let me show them I could walk around and smoke, when you could have did that anyway. If you knew your rights, if you knew the laws. You know what I'm saying? If you knew that the only thing that was patent is the word marijuana, and the only thing you need a license for is marijuana, but you did not need a license for the herb. But you need it for marijuana. Marijuana is not the herb. The herb is called marijuana, but marijuana is not the herb. Marijuana is a patent word that has statutorial consequences if you don't have a license and you smoke marijuana. But if you're smoking the herb and you don't call it marijuana, they cannot persecute you. So now thousands and thousands of my brothers and sisters in jail because of their ignorance. And now they give you, oh, well, you could smoke it now. Every day you're smoking blunts, in video smoking blunts like it's such a privilege. Y'all lost. That's the problem. That's the problem. And once again, I'm not saying anything is wrong with it, because it was there for the healing of the nation. You feel me? But it wasn't there to abuse. And most of you should be drinking it anyway and not smoking it. You're clouding up yourself. Oh, no doubt. That's what, because they had to find a way to patent it. You're absolutely correct. So now that it's a monopoly, now they're telling you it's okay. You feel me? So come on, man. You got to stop allowing your shadow self to trick you, man. You have to know who you are. Know the laws. And I'm not talking about laws that they made. I'm talking about natural laws. We are natural beings. Okay? We are natural beings. So when you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. It's okay. There's nothing wrong in being ignorant. The problem is when you decide to stay in ignorance. That's the problem. Then it becomes stupidity. So don't be stupid. You know what I'm saying? Raise up your vibrations, man. Is the only way you're going to get back on top. Only way. So I'm telling you what I do. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't eat meat. Okay, now the reason why I don't eat rice and carbs is because, again, that's just more of a physical thing. You know what I mean? Because carbs put in a lot of weight. You know what I'm saying? I'm not fat, but I still, got to keep that six pack. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, that's why, I don't do carbs like that. You know what I mean? Like very rarely I'll eat a slice of bread, or I'll eat a currant roll, you know what I'm saying, or a piece of bread pudding, whatever the case may be. I don't even do that. But the point I'm making is, once in a while, I will do that if I feel like, what, once every 3-4 months, I want to eat some rice, so I do that. But everything is strictly 99% raw. I don't cook food. I'll eat fish once in a while, and when I eat fish, it might be escovitch or it might be red snapper. That's about it. Okay, that's about it. But everything is fruits, vegetables, greens, smoothies, and that's that. And surprisingly, it may surprise you, when you start eating that way, you don't get hungry. You see, when you start eating with your mind, or not with your mind, when you start eating with your eyes, okay, then you eat all type of stuff. You see what I'm saying? But when you start eating with your mind, knowing what's good for you, then you don't eat a lot. Because I promise you, sometimes I eat like about 2 handfuls or a handful of pumpkin seeds, and I don't get hungry all day. Like seriously, I love pumpkin seeds. You know what I'm saying? All right. You said, check out your brethren prop fit. All right, I'll look into that. Thanks. All right. So I'll do, some pumpkin seeds, a little bit of cashews, sometime, Brazilian nuts. And well, every day I drink a coconut water. At least, well, put it this way, at least 6 days out of the week, I drink a coconut water and I eat the jelly. That's just my religion. You know what I mean? So every day I have to do that. Okay. So this is what I do. When I rise, I don't do any breakfast. Breakfast is actually the most important meal of the day. But what they're not telling you is actually breaking your fast. Okay. So breakfast is break fast when you're breaking your fast. All right. So it doesn't necessarily mean when you first rise, you have to put something in your stomach. No. All right. No, that's not what it means. Okay. So breaking your fast, you could break your fast after 12. It is still breaking your fast. That's why it's called breakfast, breakfast. All right. So when I rise, I don't put anything into my system. Well, I may have a banana or an orange or something like that. All right. Then a little bit of water. Then I go work out. Okay. And then when I come back, I don't break my fast or put anything into my system until about 2-3 o'clock. And what I do is I would get a shake, whether it's a protein shake, a Seymour shake, or something of that realm. Okay. Then in the evening time, okay, I will have a series or a combination of different nuts, cashews, Brazilian nuts, pecan, just a different variety. Okay. With a few dates in there once in a while. Okay. And I'll do that. And then I might have a green drink. Okay. And that's it. You know what I mean? The same amount of money you would take and go buy a meal, you could literally learn to eat that way and not be hungry. Because once again, it's all within your mind. It's all within your mind. It's a mental thing. All right. And sometimes I'll be studying. And I promise you, I study all day. I never get a headache. I never get hungry. I just drink some water. And before I look, I'm like, hold up, whoa. I've been studying since 7:30 a.m. It's already almost 12 at night. And I haven't eaten anything. You see what I'm saying? Because that means because I'm not eating with my eyes. I'm not allowing my senses to deceive me. So I'm giving my body what it needs. I'm listening to my body. See what I'm saying? So when my body needs anything, that's when I will take something. I don't take things and just keep putting in my body and my body's always wanting. No, man, don't do that. All right. So, but again, that is just me. I'm just telling you what I do. Okay. So take your time and make the transition. All right. And you'll be on the right path, man. You'll be on the right path. All right. So, like I said, I came from the Parkway. I had a great time walking around, and I wanted to show you guys, some of the videos and everything. And everybody had a good time. I hope there was no violence. It's always after you hear about it, right? But I had a good time, so I'm back at the house. I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to relax myself, do a little bit of meditation. And when I say meditation, just deep thinking. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm going to do. Meditation don't have to be this this big mysterious practice. No, I mean deep thinking is meditation. You know what I mean? Literally. Taking some time to think about and reflect on your life is a form of meditation as well. You know what I'm saying? But there are a few things that are manifesting. Like I meditated on my clothing line. All right. And boom, before I know it, in less than a week, my clothing line, I had gotten the clearance for the trademark. The LLC was done. The business account was set up. I'm talking about all that was done in a week, 7 days. That's how I create. You see what I'm saying? So once again, everything that you want and need is right here. Okay, you just literally have to know that if you put it out there into the universe, it's going to come back. The universe is like a big, your thoughts. Okay, your thoughts is the ball, and if you take the ball or any ball and you throw it against a wall, it's going to come back. All right. Sometimes it might come back with more force than you threw it. All right. So with that being said, your thoughts is like a ball and the universe is like the wall. So when you throw your thoughts into the universe, it comes back to you, and it comes back with a force sometimes, and it also comes back in multiples. You see what I'm saying? So you have to be mindful how you bounce that ball, and not just how you bounce it, but what are you bouncing to? The tune of your thoughts. Because I promise you, it's going to come back to you. And if you just learn that, okay, and you truly stand on that, then within that principle alone, you will start transforming your life, because you know that everything that you put out there is going to come back to you. Anytime you walk, if you make a left step, the right has to follow. That is just the natural flow of things within the universe. Whenever you put it out there, it's going to come back. So always keep that in mind. And that's how you are able to start rising and walking in righteousness, knowing that if I do something bad or negative, it's going to come back to me. And sometimes it get to the point, not even just to you, but to your children. So we have to be responsible with the things that we say and the things that we do. I mean, it's unfortunate that it happens that way, but that is what governs us. That is what judges us. Thou shalt not have any other judge but me. Only God could judge me. Who is God? You are God. So only you could judge yourself. You feel me? That's why when I walk into a court, no judge could judge me. Now, you're here to judge the situation, not me, partner. I know who I am. You feel me? And I got the drop. You see what I'm saying? So you cannot judge me. So when they talk about, oh, well, we're going to judge you and see that, no, you can't judge me, partner. Nah, you could judge the situation. That's what you're here for. You're the referee. You feel me? But only one that could judge I and I is me. Me. Because I am that I am. So when you learn that and you'll be able to articulate that, then I promise you, man, you'll be living like the God that you are. I mean, a lot of people don't know, like, yo, I've been through it all. I'm talking about from the lowest to the low. The lowest point in my life, I've been there, just like so many of you. Even while I'm on the internet teaching people, I was going through situations nobody knew, because I don't tell people and post my business on Facebook like that, because it's nobody's business. You know what I mean? But one day I'm going to show y'all my life story, man. You know what I mean? And it's not like as if I didn't have a choice, but that is a decision that I made to go through that period in my life, because I wanted to be there so I could grow. I could build more character. You see what I'm saying? So certain things that you go through in life, don't look at it as a punishment, or don't look at it as it's bad luck. Look at it as a form of growth. It's building you a form of a foundation. Because once you stand, nobody could throw you down, because while you built that foundation, you came from a place that nobody could tell you otherwise. Now, I've been there, partner. So you can't tell me anything. You see what I'm saying? So when you get where you got to go, you don't owe anybody anything because you know your journey. You have to walk the walk and nobody walked it with you. Yes, you may have people by your side, but what you have to realize is you have to carry your own cross. Once again, let's go back to the allegorical Bible because Jesus is me and I'm Jesus. You see, y'all have to get that. The physical man, when I was dwelling in the flesh, but now I'm ascended into Christ. So I know what it is. I know his story. That's why I'm doing greater things than he did. You feel me? So the point I'm making is you have to walk the walk and nobody could carry your cross for you. Yes, Peter may come and help you. John may come and help you, but no, you got to take it back and say, nah, that's my cross. I got to carry it because guess what? If you carry it for me, that means you are the one taking up my burden. And that means I don't have to deal with my karma. You feel me? So Jesus taught that. And again, the allegorical Jesus taught that. And I have to say allegorical because I don't want you to think, it was literal. Okay. It was just a form of expression to teach you how to live your life, not serve, the allegorical, figure, not personalize it. It wasn't meant to be personalized. You see, that is your story and it's your story being told in the third person, opposed to literally coming out and telling you, well, you are Jesus. Okay. And then you have to ascend into the Christ. You feel me? And that's what was being taught until religion came and started teaching you things outside of yourself. You dig? So know that to be true and know that to be facts because it is. I promise you I could sit with any pastor and I'll get them tongue-tied because I've done it before. And they say, well, Chief, we're saying the same thing, but you're just saying it a little bit different. And I say, my brother, don't tell me I'm saying it a little bit different. Tell me I'm speaking the truth. And you tell the people the way I'm saying it. But they will not. Because if the people know that, the people will know that they were being deceived for the longest while. And I will sit with any pastor, any bishop, any minister on live television, and we could have this, I wouldn't call it a debate because a debate means to beat people, but we could have an argument because an argument is literally you're talking to somebody to resolve. That's what an argument is. So I love arguments, but I don't like debates. And I'll sit down with the best of them. Joel Osteen, T.D. Jakes, Creflo Dollar, Benny Hannon, whatever their name is. I will sit with any one of them and let them come talk to Chief. Let's talk and let us talk and let the people hear and let's break it down. No BS. Let's tell the people the truth. But they will not do that. There's a reason for that. It's because the business of church must go on. Church is a business. It is a business. And they all sprung from Rome. They're all controlled by the Vatican. Even the United States is still paying the Vatican. England belonged to the Vatican. The Pope could come and change any law in the United States right now. Any law. And none of them could do anything about it. None of them. If the Pope say right now, tell the truth to the people of the Americas and tell these so-called Negroes, the one that's calling themselves black, let them know that they are the original people. I promise you, they have to tell people the truth. Okay? Because the Pope is the vicar. In other words, he's a representation of Jesus right now. And if he tell them to do that, they have to. They don't have a choice. Okay? So once again, indigenous people have rights. Black people ain't got no rights. Okay? Negroes ain't got no rights. African Americans ain't got no rights. They got privileges, but they ain't got no rights. Okay? So when you step up and you realize that you've been living a lie, okay, you will start positioning yourself. All right? And we have to come together. We have to organize and start calling to action, okay? Letting these people know, hey, you got to do this. And they have to do it. They don't have a choice because guess what? The original people are the only ones that could actually make laws. The shadow is just a shadow. That's why they are shadow governments. They are not real governments. You see what I'm saying? They are shadow governments being controlled by the shadow people. Okay? The reflection of us. Okay, so they cannot make laws. They could only create statutes, codes, and ordinances, which is a legal system. And lawful is natural. Legal is the shadow. Once again, goes back to what Chief Kalanago said earlier. I could prove everything that I say. Okay? So you have man, man come with laws. You have mankind, mankind come with the legal system, the codes. It is really that simple, man. And man isn't supposed to be governed by codes and the legal system. That's why a man cannot walk into their court, into a fictitious court, into a shadow court, what's called a de facto court. A man cannot walk into that court because anytime a man walk into that court, the judge have to derobe himself or herself. They have to derobe because they are not dealing with a fictitious entity. But anyway, that's a whole different story. I've spoken about that in videos, but I'm just solidifying the things that I'm saying. And I spoke of it from a spiritual perspective. And I'm just breaking it down through the manifestation. All right. So let me close this up. I want to thank y'all for being on here. I know it's been a long video, an hour and 31 minutes, but I hope you found some value in this. You know what I'm saying? So just know that once again, man, like all over this earth were people who look just like us, the original people, even the original Asians, all right, with the chinky eyes and all that. All right. They are people of what we may call the Negro race. We are not the Negro race. Okay. The Negro race was created on the other side. You feel me? We are Americans. American is a race. Believe that. And it's a complete different race from everybody else. All right. So the point I'm making is know to know. Okay. This is more than just belief. It is something that have to be within your core. All right. Within your core. And when you allow people to take you across the seas, all right, to fight for something else. We have brothers on corners fighting for blacks when they have a whole continent to fight for. Why? Because they're not educated. Nobody's teaching them. I'm going to repeat that. We have brothers fighting for blacks when we have an entire continent to fight for. To me, it just doesn't make any sense. But I get it though, because nobody's teaching them. You see what I'm saying? Because they're paying even their elders, okay? They are in the pockets, all right? Or the government is in their pocket to mislead these young brothers. You feel me? They're paying them to mislead these young brothers. So that's why you have so much crime, you know, with 16 and 13 and 14-year-olds because they are misguided. Nobody's teaching them. Do you think that the system is going to give you things to be in control of them? I mean, let's just think about it. Anything that they give you, my brothers and sisters, it is not to your benefit. It's to your detriment. I promise you that. I promise you that. Okay? Don't deceive yourself. Okay? Don't deceive yourself. Now, I'm not saying that mankind isn't supposed to live by laws. I'm not saying that. All right. There was a reason why Moses went to the Most High. What's the Most High? The people on the Most High. Moses came into the Americas. I'm going to give y'all the drop. Moses, again, allegorically speaking, Moses went to the Most High. In other words, the people from the Americas and got the laws and brought it back to the Israelites across the seas. I'm going to give y'all the drop again. You feel me? It didn't have anything to do with no Sky Daddy, man. No. It is all allegory. That's what it is. Where do you think Moses learned? Moses went to Egypt to learn. Where do you think Jesus learned? Jesus went to Egypt to learn from the age of 12. And I'm not talking about Kemet. I'm talking about the original Egypt in the Americas. Okay, the original Egypt in the Americas. And again, allegorically speaking, if Moses did exist, then he walked the Americas. Okay, and there's even legends that speak of, the Moses came with the Israelites to fight a lot of the Egyptians in the Americas, and they had to go into Africa to build Kemet. But then again, that is some of the legends. You see what I'm saying? So there's just so many different twists and turns in this whole narration of the story. It could be told in so many different ways that it could get confusing. You see what I'm saying? But in order not to confuse yourself, just know that you are God. You see what I'm saying? And once you know this, everything else will make sense because everything came from you. You see what I'm saying? And don't look at yourself as the physical flesh. Well, chief, if I'm God, well, how come my stomach hurt, or how come I broke my toe, or I broke my arm, or I got into an accident? No, you didn't get into the accident. Your physical body did. You see what I'm saying? You did. I'm going to repeat that. If you hit your toe, it wasn't you that got hit. It was your toe. You are not the toe. You feel me? You are not the body. And that's why people find it so hard, especially religious people, indoctrinate people. That's why they find it so hard to accept the fact that they are God. Because you know why? They're being taught to limit themselves to the flesh. They're not being told that separately, that's who you are. You are not the flesh. And the allegorical Jesus knew that he wasn't the flesh. So when he walked his journey, in the flesh, at some point he had to let go of the flesh. He had to let go of the flesh and be crucified and let go of all the worldly things, the physical manifestation of who he was, and got crucified. And then within 3 days, okay, he arose again. And even when he walked amongst his disciples, they didn't even know who he was. Well, let me ask you a question. That was his reincarnation in the Christ, but in another avatar. Because again, he walked among his disciples and they didn't know who he was. Well, master, teacher, how can this be you? Prove that it's you. And he had to show the nails in his hand. All that stuff is allegory. It's a beautiful story when you know it. When you comprehend what it means, it's the best bedtime story. But when you don't know what it means and you start telling your children, oh, well, don't do this because you're going to hell and God is going to punish you. Let me ask you a question. It is a contradiction to say that God is good all the time and all the time God is good, but at the same time, with another breath, come and tell me that God is going to punish me. Make up your mind. Which one is it? Either he punishes people or he's good all the time. But I know that's going to go over some of y'all head. So I'm going to repeat it again. This time I'm going to say it in slow motion or a little slower because a lot of people cannot listen fast. You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to say this again. A lot of you going around telling your children that God is going to punish them. You see what I'm saying? But in another breath, tell them that God is good all the time. Pray to God because God is good all the time. And all the time, God is good. So now, me as a child, you just messed me up because you tell me, Mommy, Daddy, you just told me God is good all the time, but God is going to punish me and burn me in hell. I mean, who does that? You see what I'm saying? So one thing you have to know is this. God cannot do no bad. God don't send people to hell. God cannot punish people. So that's how I know the God in the Bible is not the true God, because the God in the Bible is killing babies and children and, all type of millions of people. That is not the true God, because God don't kill people. Because once again, it's contradictory to say that God is good all the time and all the time God is good. But at the same breath, you're telling me God is going to punish people or God is creating a place in hell to burn people forever. No, man. No. That is not the universal all. That is not the Great Spirit. That is some man-created lunatic. And that's what people are serving. So when your God is punishing you and doing things to you, and you blame it on the devil, not realizing that God and the devil is the same, y'all got it jacked up. You see what I'm saying? So they gave you an entity that have a split personality, all right? The same entity. But when things bad happen, you get to blame the other side of the personality. And when things good go happen, they're going to tell you, well, give thanks to the other side of the personality, but they're not going to tell you it's one of the same. That's what religion does. They got you saving the same entity that's good and bad. And based on whether you do what it says, it will either be a blessing to you or it will be a curse to you. That is some crazy stuff. But people don't think for themselves. They give you a creation, not a creator. I'm going to repeat that. They have you serving a creation, but not a creator, because the creation got feelings. The creation get jealous. The creator don't get jealous. How could you create and be jealous? That doesn't make sense. How could you have favorite children? That don't make sense if they are all your creations. No, that is not the true nature of the Great Spirit. The Great Spirit is impartial. The Great Spirit is impartial. Imagine Big Mama saying, well, you know what? I like this one. I don't like this one. No, they are all her children. That's why she have no emotions. And I'm talking about that absolute darkness. She has no emotions. So when people say God is love, what you say God is, what do you mean God is love? Which God are you talking about? Because Big Mama ain't got no emotions. Because if she love you, that means she have the tendency to hate you. So therefore, she's in the absolute, but she has feelings, no feelings. She's alive. She's not alive. In other words, she's neutral. Okay? But her creations, in other words, what manifested through her, they are the ones with emotions. And that's how gods were created, from the mind. You feel me? That's how gods were created. And then you have gods that were created with so-called human tendencies or characteristics. That's why they have feelings. That's why they have genders. But that is not the ultimate Great Spirit. No, it's not. Because the Great Spirit is Big Mama and she ain't got no feelings. She don't care what you do. It's not going to affect her either way. You see what I'm saying? And that's why she gave you free. Well, no, she didn't give you. That's why when we came through her, not from her, but through her, okay, we came with free will, not to do as we please, but as we should. There's a difference. Because you don't have free will to just do what you want and think there are not going to be any consequences. But there are things that we should do. And that means we're supposed to walk in righteousness. You feel me? So don't get it twisted when y'all start talking about God, man. Y'all lost, man. That's why I know a lot of you you're not going to make it. And that's why in the Bible, it speaks about only 144,000 is going to be called. You feel me? Now, let me ask you a question. If there is over 7 billion people on earth, how is that the God in the Bible is only choosing 144,000? That means that millions and billions and billions and billions and billions of people are going to get lost. Why is that? Because y'all are following the path that's leading to destruction. Even the Bible tell you the broad path will lead to destruction. So let me ask you a question. Almost every individual got a religion. So religion is the broad path. That means you are walking into destruction. You have to let it go. It's the only way you're going to step into the truth. And a lot of you are turning spirituality into a religion. It wasn't meant to be a religion. You did. It wasn't meant to be a religion. A legion is an army. Religion is to bring back the army. Spirituality was never a religion. It was a way of life. It's living. You feel me? So when a lot of you, I see you on the internet dogging people and putting on people that got religion, but yet still you're doing things of a religious nature. It confuses me. You see what I'm saying? Man, listen, again, these fools right here, I don't have time for the negative energy, man. It's always somebody. You know what I mean? So that's why I have to block you. Like I said, y'all people don't know who you are. One thing y'all don't realize, there was no such thing as no red Indian. That was made up. Okay, or what people will falsely call red Indians. You feel me? Or what people will falsely call red Indians. A lot of y'all just so lost, it's not even funny. But don't worry about it. The universe is gonna purge y'all out. Okay? The universe is gonna purge y'all out because a lot of you are agents of confusion. You know what I mean? And it's always some energy that always want to creep in. But guess what? I've already mastered that. So I'm not even going to let it bother me. So I just have to block you and let you go about your business. All right. Because American Indians were never red people. You see what I'm saying? Just like how American Indians were never black people. Just like how American Indians were never Negroes. Just like how American Indians were never African Americans. Okay. And truth be told, a lot of us don't look like a lot of our ancestors because a lot of our ancestors in the Americas, they were pygmies. Oh, really? Y'all didn't know that, huh? Oh, a lot of pygmies were here before a lot of us. I'm talking about the so-called giants because we were the giants to a lot of those people. All over the Americas, they had pygmies. In fact, all over the earth, they had pygmies. Okay? So when y'all talking, man, with y'all ignorant self, you know what I mean? I just allow the universe to purge y'all. I keep telling y'all, anybody who come up against me, man, I'm one of the chosen ones, and I'm highly favored. And anybody who come up against me and try to hurt me intentionally, I promise you, ain't nothing gonna go right for you. Many of them have tried it. Go see where they at right now. Go see where they at right now. Because you don't know who you're messing with. All right, I'm not just talking it, I know it. See that fire in my eyes? That's not from smoking weed, that's natural. Natural. You feel me? All right, then. So, with that being said, a lot of us don't look like, a lot of our ancestors that were here 100,000 years ago. You know what I'm saying? We transitioned, okay, into different, just like how another 100 years from now, the Americans wouldn't look like how we look right now. You see what I'm saying? Because we're ascending. All right. So with that being said, a lot of pygmies were actually in the Americas. I'm talking about Europe, Africa, Asia. A lot of pygmies. A lot of us, have pygmies in our bloodline. Okay. And that's facts. If not all of us, a lot of us. Because the further back you go and you dig and you dig and you dig, you're going to find a whole bunch of little people. And they were the ones running around here in the wilderness, in the wild, with their little feathers on. Okay? All right, then. I'll conclude on that note. Just wanted to kind of drop that little secret, just in case y'all didn't know. All right? So let me conclude. And I want to thank y'all for being a part of this build. Go ahead and share the information. Do your own research. Remember, your journey is your journey and nobody else's. Okay? So learn thyself. That is key. Take the time to learn yourself. Turn the TVs off. Take the time to learn yourself. Turn the distractions off. Take the time to learn yourself. Okay? Turn the noise off. Take the time to learn yourself. Again, don't think meditation is a big, complicated secret. No, all you have to do is just relax. Relax yourself, lay down, and turn off all the noise around you and ask your higher self to teach me how to be like you. Talk to your higher self. Okay, talk to your higher self, man. It's good to see you. Glad you're here, brother. All right, thank you. Talk to your higher self. Your higher self will respond. I promise you that. Okay, it's like a car, and a car has an automatic remote, and you could just press the remote and the car would start. Now, you're not the car, but you have the remote that could start the car. It's the same thing with your higher self. Your higher self is waiting for the command from you even if it's you speaking, the higher self is speaking in the third person. So when you speak to your higher self, just say, teach me how to be like you, even if you're talking to yourself. You see what I'm saying? And I promise you, it will respond. Yes, it will respond. And you will see things start changing. Go ahead and prove me wrong. Just try it for kicks. Try it for 90 days. Try it for 21 to 90 days. Ask yourself, your higher self, teach me how to be like you. I'm lost. Teach me how to be found. Okay? The doors are closed. Open up the doors for me. Talk to yourself for once, your higher self. Because who has the best interest in you but you? You see what I'm saying? Nothing outside of you have the best interests of you more than you. I promise you that. And that's what it means by thou shalt not have any other God but me. Who is me? Me is me. I am me. I am that I am. You feel me? And anytime you start thinking that me represents something outside of you, then you are stepping into a realm of paganism. So all these religions teaching paganism, but they don't want you to know that because they're teaching you of gods that's outside of yourself. That's a form of paganism. You have to bring it back home within you. The kingdom of heaven is where? So how can you be looking for somebody else out there? And they want to tell you what's supposedly out there is in you. No, it's in you. What's in you is you that's in you, your higher self. It is really that simple. End of story. Okay? End of story. So don't let nobody make you think that, oh, it's blasphemy to say that you're God or this and that. God is the word that we use. Okay, I'm certainly sure, before the word God was invented or created, it wasn't God. But our people always knew that, that whatever that's in them, okay, is what created everything out here. They knew that. They knew that they were the ones on high. They knew that. Okay. But they reverenced things outside of themselves, the manifestation of those things to give thanks. You see what I'm saying? And that's what it was. That's what it was. Okay? So know thyself and know that ye are gods. All right? Y'all have a good continuation. Sending love and positive energy to each and every one of you. I will see you guys at the top because the bottom is just too crowded.